reaching a boiling point. Um, Fighting with these idiots. Who knows? If Daniel Dow was telling the truth when he reached out to my sister, he's in Joplin, Missouri, which is only 383 miles away from here. And they want to stop me because they don't want to go to jail. Child trafficking is illegal. So is murder. And they don't want to go to jail. But see, I'm not Isaac. I'm not going to run. I'm not going to call Craig Sawyer because I'm so afraid. I'm not doing any of that. And so, who knows what'll happen? Who knows? Maybe everyone will have to just go find some new entertainment. But, several videos today, and it's non-stop with this group. It's non-stop. I think that their whole key to it is they try to wear a person down. But I grew up like this, so it doesn't wear me down. I'm able to fight back. But if something happens to me, Daniel Dow reached out to my sister on Messenger and said he was in Joplin, Missouri. That's only 383 miles away from here. And so this all needs to be investigated. But, of course, Neil will say, oh, well, we don't know. You know, maybe he decided to move in the middle of the fucking night. I have no intention of moving. I have no intention of leaving. I certainly have no intention of doing anything to myself or anybody else. I want this investigated. That's what I've always wanted. I want it investigated. For real. Not Phoenix Enigma, Corey Daniel type investigations. Oh, you hot. You know, it needs to be investigated. And I think that God is bringing it to a head. I do. I think that God is bringing it to a head. I think that God was instrumental in that woman who came and threw a rock in my window. And I think God was part of that. Because I watched her walk away. Like I said, I watched her walk away. She was gone. And then she came back. And when she came back, oh my God, she was like possessed when she came back. And so I just really want this all to get investigated. I think children deserve more. I just think children deserve more. I think they deserve better. And this group is bad. Totally bad. They need to be looked at. They need to be incarcerated. And that's what God is going to use the darkness for. You know, God is why I got stuck in this position in this lifetime, this time around, I will never know. But I have fought and fought and fought. Hey, into the darkest places. Just be careful when you go into those dark places. But hey, I have definitely gone into the darkest places. You are totally welcome. I just, as it comes, I post it. And today, other than doing yard work and I only carry the lights to those places, I promise. I know. You know, I know. I'm just giving you crap anyway. I think that there's a lot for people to actually look at with all of this stuff. Even today, even today, look at how the relationship between Daniel Dowd and Tara Joyce Randolph has changed and shifted. it's like a 180. And there's a reason for that, you know? I seem to have seriously pissed this group off. And good, you know? I take it as a badge of honor. But Daniel Dow is not happy. Neither is Terry Joyce Randolph. You know, Thomas Schoenberger is not dead. I don't know how clear I can make this because Daniel Dow did a video today saying that I'm trying to do a LARP. I'm not even really sure what a LARP is. I probably should have looked it up. But I didn't give up. And I'm never going to give up. I'm never going to give up. Even if they show up at my fucking house, I'm not giving up. You know? Whatever's going to happen is going to happen because God is willing it. Thomas Schoenberger is not dead. You know? They're all upset because their shit's now being looked at. And that's the problem that they have. And they really do think discrediting me, taking me out will stop it. But it's way beyond that. That's why I just have a weird feeling that something's up with them. You know, that something's up. I had to text or email my police, and because one of the dumbasses who sat outside and made googly eyes to the deputy that was here the other day when the window got broke, that dude just stood outside and stared at my house smoking a cigarette for 10 minutes today. I was watching him on the video. And I am a warrior of God. I'm a tired warrior, you know? And see, I don't even know. To argue with them is just crazy. Crazy. You know? And they will twist everything. And I know that they're involved with the same shit Doug Mesner is because they always play the same games. They attack. When you bring someone up against them, they just ignore it completely and then go on to another front and attack. And they never deal. It's like Tara Joyce telling me that she doesn't defend pedophiles, but Daniel Dow has a mugshot for sex and a minor. That's what he has a mugshot for. It happened in Texas. So I just don't get... That hag would not know the truth if it slammed up right alongside her head. She wouldn't know what the truth was, even like that. It is a waste of my time. I ended up doing yard work today. I had to get rid of weeds out in my driveway, but there's a lot of animals out in my driveway, so I didn't want to use Roundup, so I went and found that if you boil water and put a bunch of salt in that water and then you pour it over those weeds, it kills them. And by God, it worked. The weeds are dying. I don't know how long it'll keep them away, but at least they're not there. But I didn't want to use Roundup because I have animals that I had a cat. I don't know whose cat it was. I don't know what, but it came and perched on my railing for 20 minutes the other day. It was just sitting there watching cars drive by, just sprawled out on my railing of my house. And I had seemed to attract a lot of animals, and the squirrels are just... I really do think that if I held out a peanut, those squirrels would take it out of my hand. They just, if I come outside, they don't run. They'll run to the top of the thing, to the top of the fence, but then they come down and they'll come so close to me, you know, and animals do need friends. And the whole thing about it is, but I feed the birds, and I have a bird bath out there because it's hot, and I just like to, I just like animals, and so it's just, I'm exhausted today. You can tell that I'm exhausted because it has been, I had to have published at least 3 videos today. And that stuff is going on when I'm making so many videos because I have a life, and but Daniel Dow is upset because there's no statute of limitations for murder. And I know he came in. They went out of their way to let me know that they were in town when no one died. Why would they be in town? And if he's in Joplin, Missouri, he's only 383 miles away. When he texted, my sister told me that he wanted to come see my sister. So he was already willing to drive up here. And it's bizarre. They act crazy. So if something happens to me, you know exactly where to look for. You know exactly. But if something happens to me and I end up on the other side, oh, God, help everybody. Because I'm bringing all of this to an end. All of it is coming to an end. Because I am tired of it, and there is no way I would just let it go. And I know that the other side has abilities on this side. And I've been able to go back and forth in this life back there. I doubt that that's going to change me going on the other side. And but who knows? Who knows? I would not live down there. My ex lives in St. Louis. Would never live in St. Louis. Didn't much care for the South. Don't much care for a lot of the stuff that goes on in Iowa either, though. And the group that's after me feels pretty protected because my sheriff's working with them. I knew my sheriff was working with them. Then when that dumbass deputy showed up, I don't know if he's a deputy. I don't think he's not above Neil, obviously. But when he was like, I've never dealt with you before. I've never dealt with you before. And like I said, I was getting pissed off because it was like, well, of course you haven't dealt with me. I'm not a freaking criminal. Why would you deal with me if I'm not a criminal? But I don't know. I just have to have faith and trust and believe that whatever is going to happen is going to happen, and it's all ordained by God. That whatever is going to happen, you have to have faith. I was about 40 minutes away from Joplin. I've never been to Joplin, but I know that my sister, because I went and looked back at the messenger thing that she said to make sure, and he told her that he was in Joplin and wanted to know if I was unwell and wanted to come see her in Early. Whether or not that happened or not, I don't fucking know. But they're on top of me. But they're trying to hide their child trafficking ring. That's the bullshit that they're trying to hide. Joplin is a weird place. Well, if Daniel Dow lives there, it definitely has to be. And as an adult male, I have so much better things to do with my time than make friends on social media, on gaming platforms with kids. That's why he doesn't like it, because that was key to that thing that got busted. That global satanic Nazi pedophile ring that got busted in September in New York, that was a key thing. They were hooking up with kids online through gaming platforms. And of course, I don't know gaming platforms because I'm not a gamer. You know, I'm a bit old for that. And the only game that I ever played when I was a kid, it was the Atari thing. It was the lines that went like this, and then you had a ball that went back and forth, and you hit it back and forth. You know, I played a couple arcade games, you know, but for the most part, I was never a gamer. But Daniel Dow is so damn dumb. I half expect him to show up and try and hurt me. I do. I don't think it will go well for him. I think that God is setting them up. Things are starting to reach a boiling point too. They're acting like freaks. And ping pong on Atari, that's it. Ping pong on Atari. That's what I used to play. I love that thing. I could play that thing for hours. And then one Christmas I got my ex, who wasn't my ex at the time, obviously, like a Game Boy. It was a whole system. And a friend of mine said, "Oh, get it for Christmas, get it for Christmas." And God will win. No matter what. God already has won. Heaven has already won. Heaven is totally in control and has already won. And now things are just working itself out to you know that hurricane season isn't even supposed to be until September, and they have a hurricane now that is already 115-mile-an-hour winds, and it's moving into the Pacific, and it's supposed to get even stronger. And we're at the 1st of July. I had vision. See, I'm so old, I don't even know what the hell that is. When I was younger and married, I was always working on the house, doing shit out in the yard. That's what I did today. Stuff out in the yard. Yeah. Tornadoes in Connecticut and the New York area. The whole thing about it is that I'm not kidding. God is going to present heaven to mankind. There is not going to be anyone who is going to doubt that what's happening is biblical. In the end, it's not going to happen. And I will say that when I meet my maker, I can at least honestly say, I tried my hardest. You know, I may not have succeeded, but I tried my hardest. And the last few days, as you can tell from my videos, have been incredibly hard for me. You know, I know what I'm going through and what I've said about losing patience and being told that I was supposed to take my place and all of that. But I started thinking about it because I thought, you know, I'm sure that my fucking sheriff in town is just, oh, well, he's crazy. Well, I'd rather tell myself that than tell myself that there's no hope and they're going to win, because I don't believe that. And that's the other side of the coin, you know? And when I say that that they will end up fearing me, I just want to make it clear, it's not really me that they're going to be afraid of. I'm just kind of the figurehead, but it's heaven they have to be afraid of. It's heaven, because they're about ready to get dealt with in ways that they can't even imagine. However, if something happens to me, you know, oh, Neil's pants are on fire. And I would rather be crazy than a fucking liar, let alone a child trafficker or a pedophile protector. I'd rather be crazy. I'd rather be crazy. And Neil is just a liar, you know? And the people that he hires, that dude was so, he was attractive with his beard and he had this kind of Italian, almost Mediterranean look. You know he was popular in high school. But the dude has coasted his entire life and he feels incredibly entitled. Just the short time I was around him, I realized the dude feels incredibly entitled. So Neil is hiring people, but they're fucking dumbasses. The only person that he hired that got a clue was that Brandon Gosh dude. He was the policeman that did the paperwork when that woman ran into my car. And I don't think that woman running into my car was an accident. I didn't at the time. 3 different sheriffs from 3 different directions showed up within 3 minutes. Nobody had even called them. And showed up in 3 different directions all at once. It felt like it was coordinated. But Brandon Gosh was the officer who did the police report. And he told me to pick it up the next day and did not realize because it was Friday that Saturday the sheriff's department is closed. So I had to call and say, how the hell do I get this report? And so he had to come and print the report off to me. And he printed off the report and got out of his truck and sat and talked to me for 45 minutes while another sheriff was like 2 or 3 places up, parking spots up, and the dude was just glaring at me. Never got out of his car and was just glaring at me. But I talked to this Brandon Gosh. He was a pretty decent guy. You know, we sat and talked for 45 minutes. He lit a cigarette, and how it started was I told him, you know, dude, those cigarettes, they ain't good for you. And that's how it worked. And I think that the dude looked me up, realized that they were using him to come to me just because his last name was Gosh. Because the minute I realized his last name was Gosh, I knew it was a setup. What are the chances that I have a cop with the last name Gosh, and Gosh is not a popular name around here. It's not, very few people have the name Gosh. And so, I was told that he left the department because it was too corrupt for him. And he was afraid that he was going to get entangled with some bad stuff. And yeah, getting entangled with me and being on the wrong side of what I'm trying to expose is never a pleasant thing for people. Never. Never a pleasant thing. You know, it's not pleasant for Daniel Dow's not having a good time. That porn actress, Tara Joyce, isn't having a good time. Thomas Schoenberger isn't having a good time. Doug Mesner never did have a good time. You know, I was impressed with them. Brandon Gosh was the one I was impressed with. He was a normal dude. That's why I didn't really go too hard on the whole car thing. But then, first time ever living in this town, I was going to the gas station. It was like 9:30 at night. And I was on my way to the gas station because it's just a few blocks down. And one of the deputies stopped me. And the only thing he wanted to know was if I was still driving the same car that got into an accident. So they were really hoping to total out my car. They've just gone out of their way to try and fuck me any way they possibly can. Over and over and over and over. That's how it works. They want to fuck me any way they can. Shit, they blew up a gas station to get to me. You know? And that's just one thing while I've been out here. One thing. And, see how David didn't accuse that guy of folks in the bushes? They discuss things. That's called adulting. Exactly. You know, for me to suspect you, you have to dance around like a dumbass, because otherwise I don't get it. Otherwise it's not the first thing that I go to. You know, the idiots that are next door, they went out of their way to dance around like fucking Rumpelstiltskin, so I knew that they were involved. They wanted me to know that they were involved. That's how I know they're involved. You know? And the one is a relative of the ex-Harlan police chief, and he was known as the biggest drug dealer in town. He ended up retiring. But it's his relative, you know? It's that cop is their relative. And oh yeah, it's so blatant. It's so blatant. They go out of their way. So today I'm going and doing yard work. And Georgie Porgy Puddin' and Pie is sitting outside with that dumbass grin. And I was on the phone. And I was just like, yeah, he's out there with this goddamn dumbass grin on his face. He always has a goddamn dumbass grin. Lives in an apartment, doesn't have shit. Ex-meth head, but he's so much better than me. But it's because when the cops showed up for the broken window, which I still don't know how I'm going to get fixed. But when the cops showed up, they were all making googly eyes at each other because the two of them were out there. And that's not the other two. The one that lives beside me and my sister at the same time has kind of faded. They kind of hide now, you know, still there. I asked my sister and she said, yeah, they're still there. And they're still here. I just saw them 2 or 3 days ago. And because it's summertime, I'm outside doing yard work constantly, pulling weeds, digging up flowers, you know, all of that. And so it was just, you know, it just never stops. It never stops. And I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna go. Because when I first got involved with this, what I was told was I had to make them rise up and strike me down. That was key to all of this. And something tells me that's getting ready to happen. I'm not happy about it, obviously. You know, I worry about my dogs. I have people that I care about, you know, but what can I do? And I ain't gonna stop, and I ain't gonna go run and hide, because that's what they want. They want me to go run and hide. They want me to go run and hide, and I'm not doing it. I'm not running. I'm not gonna go run. I'm not gonna go hide. I'm gonna stand my ground and keep calling them the fuck out. That's what I'm gonna do. What dumbasses they show up in town and take out Owen and then dance around and laugh about it like there's nothing I can do. And Daniel Dow is 383 miles away from me, and that's Harlan. Omaha's even closer, you know? But do you think that my sheriff, who got all of the emails in real time, I was just forwarding them to him as it was happening, do you think he did shit? No, of course he did. Of course he did. Because his deputy hadn't dealt with me yet, you know? Oh, they're going to be brought to justice. They ain't going to be brought to justice on this side. Death is coming. Death is coming. It already is happening. Look at the shit that's going on in the world, just with the weather alone, you know? Death is coming. And they better pray that they can figure out how to live forever. Because the minute after they've taken their last breath, the darkness is fucking claiming them. And the darkness is God's. It's not mine. I'm connected to it only because of what I went through, but it's not mine. I didn't make it. I don't control the dark. You know, it helps. It helps me. That there. I have a modicum of influence, but that's only because God has allowed me to have a modicum of influence. Otherwise, nothing that they're facing is me. I'm just not going to stand and let evil happen. And I'm not going to go run and hide. I'm not going to go run and hide from their fucking evil. I don't find them scary. I find them pathetic. You know, I have never seen a bigger group of dumbasses in my life. They're lethal. Don't have no doubt in your mind. They are lethal. And they are mean and they do awful things. But if it comes down to them having to think their way out of a ripped, wet paper bag, they ain't going to be able to do it. And that's what I'm saying, you know? Boy, that sun is really bright. Let's see if I can turn around this way. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I have someone in here joining me. Always seems to join me. Likes these live things. Lays at my feet. Bring light to the darkness. The darkness is God's. God's using the darkness to claim him, because the darkness is what's getting ready to separate the wheat from the chaff. That's what's happening. And the chaff is going into the dark. That's how it's going to work. Oh yeah. I came on here just because I was laying in bed watching television. But someone leaving a comment today, watch your back, and then having to deal with Dowd, I can't help it. I just got this really bizarro feeling that I think something's up. I do. I think it's something's up because I pushed the envelope so hard, you know? But they don't realize something happens to me, it's going to push that envelope over the edge. Because there are people who are watching, and if something happens to me, I don't think it will go well for them. I just don't. Oh yeah. Raptured angel. That's who it was. It was on one of the videos, probably the first video I did this morning. What was I talking about? I think it's like the first video I did this morning. I think I've done 3. And now a live video. Just because things are getting to the point where it's getting to a head. It's coming to a head. They're afraid. Obviously, since Thomas Schoenberger is trying to convince me and everyone else that he's dead, they're afraid. They do not like what's happening. And they're backed up against a corner. They don't have many choices. You know? In the end, they will rise up and strike me down. That's what they do. That's the only thing they know how to do. Look at how many times they've done it, and look at how many people they've done it to. It's the only thing they know how to do. So when I was asked to make it happen, it wasn't an enjoyable task, but I can't say that it was a hard task. You know? I know you have nothing to fear, David. God's got your back. That's how I feel. You know? God has gotten my back and will know that I will fight no matter what. And I know they watch these videos. Tara Joyce is doting on every fucking word I'm saying right now. Daniel Dow is probably watching, but he may be in the car. Who knows? You know? Geo Farnsworth just tried to befriend me on my Venmo account. Yeah, like I'm going to be friends with you on my Venmo account, dumbass. You know? It's all this child trafficking. You know? It's all this child trafficking. And I know that there are people, even if they got rid of my videos, I know people have my videos. That's the key thing. I know just normal people save my videos. Because I give out, they don't like it that I call out names. I'm just gonna call out names. I don't, I don't get the whole let's pussyfoot around and mamby-pamby and I'm gonna, I'll hint around and but fuck that. I'm just gonna tell you who I'm dealing with, what I think they're involved with, and just let the cards fall where they may. Because I think that was the problem with Isaac. He wasn't calling out names. He was, oh, I have these names, and oh, I have this, and oh, I have this, but he never shared it. And me, I'm not like that. I'm not like that. Why bother? If I have names and I know shit's going on, I'm fucking calling out those names, and they don't like it. That's the reason why David Hall and that Imagination, whatever the hell that podcast is called, I don't even know. But I've had so many people reach out and thank me for calling them out because they've been destructive. And I got into a conversation with someone today, and they were like, I don't think that they're even real victims. And I never thought about it, but the biggest thing that David Hall was bitching at me about was telling me, you don't believe we're victims. You don't believe we're real victims. And I didn't even know the dude was a victim. I didn't even know he was a survivor. I didn't know that the dude was connected to the Imagination podcast, even though he had befriended me on Messenger 10 years ago. Had no clue. And now, no. Honestly, I don't believe that they're victims. I don't believe that they're survivors at all. I believe they're part of this child trafficking bullshit, and they're drawing in survivors, because that's what they do. They set up these honeypots to draw in survivors so they can fucking neutralize them, and that's how it works. Isaac did expose Seth Green, but that was the only one I've ever heard him talk about. And exposing Seth Green is like exposing, Tom Hanks. That's what I got so irritated with, is that with Isaac Cappy, everyone, you're right. Oprah Winfrey was waiting in the van, and Tom Hanks is the one who threw Isaac off of the bridge. Really, they discombobulate so much bullshit that it doesn't even make any sense. And it sounds so stupid that anybody who doesn't have even a modicum of understanding on what's going on will think that everyone's fucking crazy, and they'll just walk away. And that's what it's designed to do. No, Isaac was not the only one who said the same thing about Seth. And Seth Green was involved as a participant, not as a child trafficker, and yeah. Oh, I have no doubt that Seth Green was involved. There's a lot of people who are involved, but they're involved not in the day-to-day operations. That's the problem. That's why they hate me. Daniel Dow, Corey Daniel, they're the ones who took Isaac's dead ass to that bridge and put him on that bridge to let him fall off. And anybody who believes, I have never heard of a deluxe 2 CD set to someone's suicide. That in and of itself is a big red flag to me. I've never fucking heard of such a thing. For $100, you can get a deluxe 2 CD set of everything Isaac Cappy suicide. Autopsy photos, 911 calls, all of it is on CD. I've never heard of anything like that. Never. I've never heard of families wanting to have that released when their family members commit suicide. So I'm not thinking too highly of Isaac's mom and dad. But then I've heard things about them too. And so there was no kill switch. You know what the fucking kill switch is with these people? when you start making them feel like they're under threat. That's the fucking kill switch. Because when you flip that fucking switch, they come kill you. That's what ends up happening. There's no kill switch. There's no, oh, they can make you commit suicide. If they could make you commit suicide, why didn't Fiona Barnett commit suicide? Why didn't I commit suicide? What the fuck? What, do our kill switches just don't work? Because there is no fucking such thing as a kill switch. They don't have an ability to convince you to kill yourself. They show up and murder you. And then they put your dead ass body on a bridge and they call it a suicide. You know what their fucking kill switch used to be? They used to show up at your house and shoot you in the back of the head twice. That was the fucking kill switch. How exactly you can shoot yourself in the back of the head twice, I still have never figured that out. But that's their kill switch. They want you to believe that they're so much more than what they are. They want you to believe that they're all-knowing and all-powerful, and they control everything. That's the shit that they taught us as kids. Fuck, they used to tell us that the bugs would tell it on us. If we told anybody, if there was a bug, the bug would tell them. I'm not shitting you. And you're a kid. You know, you can convince kids almost anything. But there's no fucking kill switch. There's no such thing as... It's the same thing as mind control. I don't necessarily... It's like what they say about you can't be hypnotized and be made to do something you wouldn't already do anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's what I see a lot of people is doing a lot of bad shit, and then when they get caught, I was mind controlled. I'm not responsible. I'm not guilty because I couldn't control myself. I was under mind control. It's the same fucking thing as the devil made me do it. Really? How many times have people gone to court with the defense of the devil made me do it and they get off? Never. Is that even a defense anymore? No, they are not the Jews. Child traffickers. People who are involved with Michael Aquino. That's who is involved. Craig Sawyer. Thomas Schoenberger. Geo Farnsworth. Daniel Dow. Corey Daniel. Bruce Trimble, I think his name is. Gabe Hoffman. All of these people are connected to all of this bullshit. Every fucking one of them. And that's why I call out their names. Because I'm not going to sit quietly anymore and just let them get away with it. I'm not going to do it. You know? I'm not going to do it. So what? So he's Jewish. Religion doesn't have any fucking thing to do with it. You want to know what religion they are? They love money. For the most part in Omaha, the shit that was going on was the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church was involved. They were getting boys from Boys Town in Omaha from the Catholic Church. You know, the Catholic Church that has a whole fucking history of fucking kids and have lost billions of dollars because they've gotten sued because they fuck kids? That religion. That's the religion that you need to go to and look at. You know? The Jews aren't doing shit. Well, they're bombing Palestine. You know? I'm sorry, Demon. I don't know, Demon Saki. I don't know how to give notifications. But I'm going to be on here for a minute because I've been on here for 44 minutes and people are starting to come in. It's Sunday evening. Fuck, who knows? Who knows how long I'm going to be able to do this shit anymore. You know, I've pissed these people off really bad. And I don't care. I don't care. They don't have to torture me to ask me who I've told because I tell everybody. I couldn't tell you everybody I've told because I tell everybody, you know? Catholic Church did a lot of damage. Yes, a lot of damage. When I was a kid, there were no Jews. The only Jewish person that was there was Alan Baer. And Alan Baer wasn't a real Jew. Alan Baer only became Jewish because he married Marcia Baer. But do you know John Baer, Marcia Baer's dad, who was heavily involved with this bullshit, lived right across the street from the Manson family when Charlie Manson was reported that he did what he did. You know, living right across the street. And Charlie Manson was an MK Ultra. Spent time at Boys Town. You know? If they are mad or troll, it means they want you to be quiet. Oh, they want me to be quiet. I wasn't on yesterday because I volunteered. Good for you. An event for charity. I have not been doing a lot of charitable work right now. When I first got here, that's all I did. I volunteered constantly. That's all I frickin' did. But I can't trust situations anymore. There may be Jews involved. The thing about it is that religion didn't matter. Who they fucking worshipped was Lucifer. They liked this group. You know? They liked this group. And I'm not saying that Jews aren't bad, that all Jews are good. I'm not saying that. Look at Benjamin Netanyahu. I call him Nincompoop. It's hard for me to remember his name because I always call him Benjamin Nincompoop. But it was the Catholic Church in Omaha, because there's not a big Jewish population in Omaha. There are Jewish people, and it doesn't have anything to do with religion. It has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with politicians. And most of the people that were involved in this as a kid were on the right, not the left. You know? And so, but we can't say that. Because to talk about this stuff, it all has to be the left, and Hollywood. The right side, they're all fucking living in Mount Olympus. They're next to God. They don't do anything. They're pious. They're loving. You can't say shit about them. I don't like either side. No, I don't like either side. But when I was a kid, it was George Bush Sr. and Anton Scalia. All these right-wingers, you know? But shit. And Trump's daddy. Not to sound like the Imagination podcast, because I guess they make everybody hate Trump. They demand everybody hate Trump. I don't understand people who like liars. I don't understand who like liars, who have been convicted of sexual assault and have lost millions upon millions upon millions of dollars for sexual assault. You know, the dude's not a good guy. He's certainly not Jesus Christ reincarnated. And the fact that that's being said is fucking blasphemous. But the Democrats, oh my God, what a feckless group of... We're fucked in America. We're fucked. If Biden and Donald Trump are the best we can fucking do in America, we're doomed. Flat out. We're doomed. And so I don't like any of them. Not a one of them. Not a one of them. You know, the one that I like, that people would probably balk, I do like Adam Kinzinger. He's not even in politics anymore, but I liked him. I thought that he was an upstanding, upright kind of guy. I did. I always got the impression that Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney's dad is fucking war criminal. But, you know, wasn't a big fan of her, but I liked Adam Kinzinger. You know, fuck, run him. I'll vote for him. You know, but that's just it. There used to be a moderate side, and now it's both extremes. You're either the left extreme, which is crazy, this whole anything goes, everything is okay, or this right side, which is basically fucking fascist. You're gonna do what we fucking want you to do. You know, it's interesting. The Supreme Court doesn't want anything to be regulated except women's bodies. Every business and all of that, fuck those regulations. We can get rid of all of those. The only one, you know, see, I didn't think that Trump did shit for America. Trump sold out. Don't you find it interesting that his plane right now, and for the last 2 days, has been parked in a weird part in an airport, and Putin's plane is right beside it, and there's another plane that's right beside Saudi Arabia? Do you really think that him taking all of those fucking classified, if Biden had classified documents and they wanted to stick his ass in jail, but Trump, it's all okay. But how the fuck do you explain his son-in-law getting $2 billion from the Saudi Arabia government? You know, from the Saudis. It's all been sold out. It's all been sold out, you know? And it's all fucking evil. It's all evil, you know? It's all evil. For those of you who like Trump so much, go to Mar-a-Lago. See if they let you in. Because they're not gonna, you know? They don't want your kind in there. They don't want my kind in there, you know? And I just don't see how everything... Trump lies all the time. And I'm sorry, but when COVID came, telling people to drink fucking bleach or stick a UV light up their ass was not helpful. You know? Was not helpful. Something's more than autumn about Jared. He's way... That boy is only a half a step in the closet. That's all I'm saying. He's only a half a step in the closet. The rest of him is flaming out, you know? Yeah, Trump told us to inject bleach. Exactly. Couldn't we get rid of COVID by injecting bleach? Well, yeah. Go ahead, inject bleach. You won't have COVID anymore. Be the least of your fucking worries, you know? Not one of them. And their media is lying to us. Our media is lying to us, you know? The media is lying. This whole, you know, they're saying that this debate, which was awful, by the way, who do you want? The dude who couldn't tell the truth or the dude who was completely out of it? But from what I understand, Biden had a cold, you know? So if he has a cold, and summer colds are bad, and he's fucking 80 years old, and he had just been flying over to the Middle East and to Europe, over, back and forth, back. Shit, that would make me sick, you know? I don't like Trump, but he didn't say that we should. He said, is there something similar to doing that? Well, yeah, but the dude also wanted to fucking drop a nuclear bomb into a hurricane. You know? Again, if Biden and Trump are the best America has to offer, we're gonna get invaded anytime. You know? Because what the powers that be in America know is that most Americans are fucking addicted to reality TV. They want real life to be reality TV. But reality TV, we're screwed either way. Exactly. We're screwed either way. You know? It's we're screwed either way. And if we have this hurricane goes up the East Coast, and they're saying that it could have winds that were 250 miles an hour because the oceans are so warm right now that water is just fueling this thing. You think they're going to save anybody? You know? You think they're going to save anybody? Do you think the people that got their shit taken away from an F4 tornado that was just here, a month ago, a month and a half ago? They didn't get shit. Those houses aren't rebuilt. Where the fuck are they? Where are they living? You know, does anybody care? Probably not. And so, why don't TV reporters do investigations anymore? The reason why they don't do investigations anymore is because now it's all entertainment. Fuck the news. It's all entertainment. If there's not enough entertainment in it, they don't want to do the news. And so, yeah. And that's just it. Fucking throwing paper towels at Puerto Ricans. You know? Fort Myers didn't get anything after that. No! They never do. Nobody ever gets shit. And insurance companies aren't even covering this shit anymore. They're saying that it's an act of God. And they're not liable for an act of God. And so, I live in Florida. Hurricane Ian was a Cat 5, but they downgraded to a Cat 4. So the insurance companies didn't have to pay out. That's just it, you know? And into the darkest places, that's just it. Trump's daddy was heavily involved in the child trafficking and what was going on in Hummel Park. Fred Trump was there all the time. So you're telling me that Fred Trump was involved, but none of the rest of his family was? Because that's not how I see how it works. It's generational. If your daddy is involved, you're involved because your daddy was involved. That's how it worked with me. You know, I was involved because of my dad was involved. Seriously, yes. He didn't help and distribute any aid. I had someone who went to Puerto Rico and they're still a mess. They're still a mess. You know, they're still a mess. Trump didn't do shit. Fred Trump. I've said it before. I'm not saying anything I haven't already said. You know, I've talked about Fred Trump before. That's the reason why, you know, no. And Donald Trump was best friends with fucking Jeffrey Epstein. So it's not a goddamn leap, you know? And so Fred Trump was heavily involved. Heavily involved. That's the reason why that family is so fucked up. And that family is seriously fucked up. You know, seriously fucked up. Not one of them is a normal person. Not a one of them is a normal person. And so, and that's from people who know them, you know? But then the Bidens, look at the Bidens, you know? Shit. Fuck, look at the Clintons. That's the reason why when I came out and said what I said about Donald Trump, I had people, because people thought that I was, oh, well, since I'm against Donald Trump, I must like Joe Biden. No. No. I can dislike both of them. You know, I can dislike both of them. It's just that right now, people don't want to hear the truth. They want to be told what they already think is the truth, what makes them comfortable. And if you say something that makes them uncomfortable, then you're a liar or you're crazy. They dismiss it. They don't even want to think about it. And how do you combat that? You know? No, there is no lesser evil. Evil is evil. You vote for evil, you know? No, opinions and facts are not the same. When someone tells you that opinions and facts are the same thing, tell them to tell themselves that gravity doesn't exist for them and go jump off a fucking tall building and see what the fuck happens. Because your opinion is that gravity doesn't work. So it doesn't work. So, you know, people are not smart anymore. Oh my God, they are not smart. We get a turd sandwich no matter who's in office. Oh, it's fucking worse than that. It's a turd sandwich covered in vomit and last week's feces. And you know, no thank you, I'm scared of heights. You know, the thing about it is that opinions don't override facts. And alternative facts aren't alternative facts. Those are fucking lies. But that's what everything is so convoluted now that nobody knows. What they've tried to convince everybody is there is no truth, no real truth. Everything is relative. That's what they want you to believe. Everything is relative. Nothing is connected to anything else, and it's all relative, and it just lives in a vacuum. So nothing is, you know, it's just, it drives me insane sometimes because nothing is connected. You know, take that gas station. I was getting death threats, constant death threats that I was forwarding to my sheriff, but none of those matter. They didn't matter at all. Donovan, who was the deputy they were using to go after me with the dogs, killed himself a week and a half before that gas station explosion. But that had nothing to do with anything. Nothing to do with anything. Then there were men, when we were at COVID lockdown, right across the street from the gas station, that Saturday night at 3 o'clock in the morning. They woke up my neighbors because they were there. But that doesn't have anything to do with anything else. Nothing at all. None of it is connected. Then there were 2 fucking explosions. KETV came up and interviewed both my sheriff and me. There were 2 explosions. But the official report says there was 1 explosion. And none of it is connected to anything else. It's all separate. You can't really put everything else together and put it all together because it all lives in a fucking vacuum. You know? And yet, a rational person would look at it and say, wait a minute, there seems to be some issues here. You know? What do you mean this happened, then this happened, then this happened? Then the gas station exploded, and then it was lied about. You know, that's kind of a fucking pattern. You know, same thing with Isaac Cappy. Isaac Cappy says that he's not suicidal in a video where every time he says he's not going to kill himself and he's not suicidal, you can hear someone in the background hurting his fucking dog. But none of that is connected to anything else, you know? Nothing is connected. It's all just, it lives in a vacuum. God, it just irritates me. Thank you for calling me a good man. And I am telling the truth. You know, what would be the point of me spending so much time doing this shit? It's not, I mean, I have a broken window that I'm begging for donations, but everyone's broke. So it's certain I'm not getting any donations to fix that window. What would be the point of this? You don't think that I don't have better things to do? That there aren't things I would rather be doing? You know? Because today I'm sitting here wondering if fucking Daniel Dow is in Joplin, Missouri. Do I have to worry about him showing up to my house? You know? And that's right. The dog never made those sounds before. And those dogs, what do I do for work? I'm freaking disabled. So I sew. I try to make shit. I do a lot of volunteer work because I don't want to sit around and just take money from the government. So I ended up, most of my life, I've been a volunteer. Volunteered for all kinds of shit. Animal shelters, food banks, here, food banks, the Christian place that I was helping do housework and shit for people in town until they tried to set me up, But of course they wanted to set me up. They were right next door. You walk out their front door and you could walk into the sheriff's office and it would only be, 10 steps, And I've just tried to give back. I've tried to give as much as I possibly can. And, Isaac did say that his dog was upset. The only time that dog made those noises was when he said he was not suicidal and he wouldn't hurt himself. If you listen to that fucking video, that's what it was happening. Is every time he said he wasn't suicidal, and then he ended up dead the next day. Wow. But nothing is connected to anything else. Nothing is connected. It all just lived in a vacuum, And it fucking sucks. And that's what Fiona and I used to talk about, because they would tell people she just wants attention. She just wants attention. The attention that you get doing this kind of fucking work is not attention anybody wants. You could tell that Isaac was in distress. Yes, you could. You could, And the fact that it wasn't a have to go out. I have 3 dogs. That was not a have to go out. That was someone was fucking hurting his dog, because that dog was yelping. Dogs don't yelp like that when they're hungry or if they have to go out. They don't yelp like that. Someone was hurting that dog. I'm being set up in my apartment. Oh, fuck. It's bad enough living in a house. I could only imagine what it would be like living in an apartment. Oh, my God. Because this gang stalking shit is not new. I'm not the first or only person who has ever said that they gang stalked. There's a whole long fucking list of people who have claimed that they have been gang stalked and attacked with these weapons. The weapons that the U.S. Air Force went in front of Congress in 2006 said they had, and that they were going to use on American citizens to show the rest of the world they were safe. But again, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That doesn't have anything to do with anything. That doesn't prove that there's weapons, that they're using these microwave weapons. That doesn't mean anything. It's, and all my life I've just watched people go like, oh, it's okay. Oh, well, then I guess it doesn't mean anything. And walk away with their eyes glazed over, and then nothing goes on. And you want to know what happens? It just sets it up to happen again to someone else. That's what it fucking does. When you let evil just happen, then it's just going to keep going to other people. And God help you if it comes to your front door. Because no one will help, because they'll convince everyone that, you're crazy and you're just looking for attention and you're a liar and you're stupid and and people will be like, oh, okay, well, fuck, he's a liar, Of course, the 5 million people that said the same thing before him, they were all liars too. But then that's the reason why the FBI is saying that all those people in those embassies that got hit with those directed energy weapons, do you know what they all suffered from? Mass hallucinations. That's what they were under. They were just all under a mass hallucination. The Cuban embassy, the Chinese embassy, they were just mass hallucinations. They hired mentally unwell people. That's what was filled up with those I mean, obviously, you know, what do you think would be the most effective way to do something against the satanic structures as a normal person? The only thing you can do is pray. God has it handled. God has it handled. You know, let people know, if you have kids, you can't let your kids remain ignorant to this shit. They need to know. That's exactly it. Pray and educate others. Because let me tell you, someone who's been on the front lines of this for a long time, wrote a book, have a blog, have obviously do videos, you know. What have I accomplished? Fuck, some days I will tell you not a goddamn thing, you know. God wins. What's going to win is not necessarily love. We're all going to be tested. What's coming is going to be awful. What is here is awful. And it's only going to get worse. It's been progressively getting worse already, you know? And so there's no basis for accomplishment. No, because I don't know what I've accomplished and what I haven't. I just keep going and try to have faith that I'm helping somebody. You know, someone is being helped. Even if it's just one person who gets helped. And I just, you know, thank you. I'm glad that you've learned a lot. That makes me feel better, that people are at least waking up to the truth. That's all I want, is for people to wake up to the truth and be able to decide accordingly. But in order to make the right decision, you have to have both, you have to have all the perspectives. And we've grown up with their perspectives. And I ate the food from the charity thing and felt like crap this morning. See, I don't really eat out and about. But then they come in and poison my food too. I know they poisoned my food. They rearranged shit in my refrigerator, you know? And see, that's just it. You know, all the former military personnel suffering Havana syndrome and other vets are all crazy. They're all crazy. That's just it. They're all suffering from false memories. You know, that's what they have. It's mass hysteria, and they have false memories. But what would any of you do if you went up and started telling somebody something about your life, and they looked you in the face and said, I don't believe you. You're suffering from false memories. You're crazy. The memories you don't have, that you have, they're not real. They're false. How would you feel? Would you just be like, oh, okay, you must be right. I must not know what fucking reality is. You know? But that's what we're doing to those people. You know? Oh, they just don't know their reality. The shit's getting blasted at me. I know exactly where the fuck it's going from. A neighbor across the street was so emotionally invested. It was not the place that I was saying it was. It's this house that's down a kitty corner to me where the people just moved in. Well, how the fuck has this been going on for so long? But those people just moved in, but they're the culprits. But the people who live beside me dance around like they're fucking Rumpelstiltskin because they want me to know. It's just like when the cop showed up the other day, they were sitting outside waiting for the cop. You know? But you're right. Nothing is connected to anything else. If you have a question about reality, you need to go to them and ask them. And then what they tell you, that's the reality, you know? But while they're telling you what your reality is, you better fucking watch for your kids. Because chances are, the reason they're even talking to you is because they're focused on your kids. That's the honest truth. It is gaslighting. That's all they do, is gaslight. That's all they do. Typical psychopaths gaslight. That's exactly what they do. They're never responsible for the shit they do. You're crazy because you identify it, you know? the underground site where children's shoes, stained mattresses, high chairs were found in Brooklyn, New York, and the Jewish people were running from the sewers. The only thing that I have a problem with is that everything is becoming anti-Semitic now. Everything. I'm not Jewish. I come from a Jewish background, but I have never been Jewish in my life. But putting it off on a certain group of people is not my experience. You know who we're fighting? White people. There were no black people in Hummel Park. Not a fucking colored person was in Hummel Park. And they were all fucking rich. There wasn't a fucking poor person there. They were all powerful. They had lots of money, but every flavor. That's just it. Every flavor. That's my experience. And the New York tunnels are a distraction from the DC tunnels. It's all a distraction. That's the reason why all the shit started coming out about Hillary Clinton and all of that. And then all of a sudden we had Pizzagate. Pizzagate, where child trafficking was happening in the basement of this pizza parlor. The problem with it is that this pizza parlor didn't have a fucking basement. So how was there child trafficking happening in a fucking basement that didn't exist? So then when that fell apart, then all of a sudden we had QAnon. And QAnon, the group that I'm dealing with, is heavy in QAnon. Doug Mesner, aka Lucian Greaves, and his little group are heavily involved in QAnon. From what I understand, so is Thomas Schoenberger. They're all involved. And why are they involved? Because now when you talk about child trafficking and this bullshit, everyone says, oh, you must be a QAnon fanatic. You're crazy. And they dismiss it and they walk away. That's what it's designed to do. The Jewish people are fleeing from there. Yeah. There was a basement in the next door shop, but not in that basement. There wasn't. They have you guys looking. You want to know what? They don't need fucking tunnels. In Omaha, Nebraska, they didn't need fucking tunnels to run kids. They were doing it in the goddamn gay bars. Because not one of you fucking straight people know exactly what goes on in the gay bars. Not one of you. And it was out in the fucking open. While you're all looking for fucking tunnels and albinos in Hummel Park, the shit was happening right out in the open. They were making snuff films at the Hollywood bar in the basement where there was a dungeon. But everyone's looking for fucking tunnels. And then when it came out that Hollywood was doing it, they ripped it the fuck down and put up a parking garage right over it. It never got investigated. Never got investigated. So we'll talk about the Jews, but the fact that this shit was in the goddamn gay bars, we can't talk about shit like that because gays are like Trump now. They're just so much, they're better than peanut butter. You can't say anything about it. But me, I've been a fag my whole fucking life. I'll talk about the gay lifestyle anytime I fucking want, because I know all about the gay lifestyle. That's the reason why I left the gay lifestyle. Nothing ever gets investigated. Ever. Nothing ever gets investigated. Because what they do is if they send people down, it's just like Tara Joyce Randolph has. Not my rabbit hole. I'll guide you down every other fucking rabbit hole, but you ain't coming down mine because my rabbit hole is where the real shit is. So they'll guide you to every other fucking place until you get tired. And then you'll just get bored and you'll go do something else. And it just gets to continue. That's how this shit works. Yeah, your aunt and uncle, because they were fucking involved. My great uncle Phil is the one who indoctrinated my dad and my uncle Jack. It was his uncle Phil. Fucking pedophile, Luciferian dickhead. All up in Michigan. That's how it works. That's the reason why I'm saying there's no way that Fred Trump was in Hummel Park and his family has nothing to do with it. It doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. I have to say, today has been that old hag. That old hag definitely needs reading comprehension. Today I just told her to stick to porn. She needs to go back to porn because the real world doesn't work for her. So she just needs to go back, start up her porn career. I am sure that there is a group that are looking for old ugly hags to have fucking sex on tape. I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff, Old women with fat asses and fucked up hair. There you go. She'll fit right in, It's just, I feel like I'm in grade school dealing with this group because they're like children, You say something to them, I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I? Medical and legal, yeah. Funny how the kids who have good parents get taken away, but the fucking meth heads who CPS goes and visits over and over and over until the fucking kid is dead, they don't take those kids, How interesting is it that they take good people's kids away, but the fucking garbage people can torture their kids to death, Because you hear about it constantly. It's always on the news. Someone's always doing shit to their kids. And it's always, CPS was there 15 times, but didn't do anything even though they saw the bruises. And the 14-year-old only weighed 60 pounds. They didn't think anything was wrong. Really? What it was they didn't want to fuck those kids, and so we just leave those kids. We only want to target the ones that we want to fuck. The ones that we want to fuck, or the ones we can get money on. The ones that we can sell. That's the reason why when they say, they'd say baby eaters, there was no fucking babies murdered when I was a kid. And you want to know why? Because babies you can sell for a whole lot of money. They don't kill babies. Besides, with blood sacrifice, you have a coven of at least 12 adults there. How much fucking blood do you think? That baby ain't gonna give anybody that much blood. They need fucking, for me, it was prepubescent, adolescent white boys. That's what was killed for me. Yeah, if your kids are cute, if your kids are cute and they target your kids, you're fucked. Because they want to fuck it. If you invite one of them to your house, you better have a whole lot of Clorox. And when they leave, you better hide your kids, your animals, your silverware, your plunger. You better wipe your fucking doorknobs off, because anything they can shove up their crevices, they're going to shove up their crevices. Because they're fucking sex addicts. That's what it's all about, is fucking sex. This adrenochrome. Oh, they're drinking it to stay young. Oh, really? Well, they're not fucking stupid. Which one of them has fucking done it and stayed young? Which one? Because what it does is that they hurt these kids so bad that these kids have endorphins in their blood. And so they drink that blood and then they fuck everything. Because it acts like an aphrodisiac. But nobody wants to hear that. But that's the basis for it. It acts like an aphrodisiac. Because you have so many pain hormones and shit. And people don't just vanish. People don't just vanish. 1,000 kids in Ohio. 1,000 kids in 1 year. The same year they bust a global satanic pedophile, satanic Nazi pedophile ring. 1,000 kids disappear in Ohio. And do you know what they're saying? They just all ran away. 1,000 kids. And they all fucking ran away. All at the same fucking time. And everyone's just like, oh, okay. Wow, that's weird. What's on TV? That's how it feels. You know? That's how it feels. And when you're a victim and you know what the fuck is going on and you just watching it, oh shit, it isn't fucking laziness on the cops. They're not fucking lazy. They're paid to be involved. My sheriff doesn't do what the fuck he does because he's lazy. He does what he does because they pay him. That's why he does what he does. The meth heads that are fucking driving me insane, they're not doing it just because they have nothing better to do. They get paid. Because you want to know what? Fucking kids and stealing people's kids and selling other people's kids makes a lot of fucking money. Right. All the kids in Hawaii. What the fuck happened to them? They must have just all gone and jumped in the fucking ocean and got swept away. All those kids just got swept away. You know? 3 choices. Participate, look the other way, or not allowed. That's exactly it. Because people like me don't come along very often. They don't. They don't come along. People who just don't give a fuck, who are going to tell the truth and have it out there, because I am sick and tired of the bullshit. That's the reason why I do what I do. You know, from a wildfire that was started, because now they're already admitting they have fucking lasers in the sky. Those fires got started, just like the ones on the West Coast. Didn't burn down trees, but melted fucking cars. Melted cars, but trees right across the street didn't get touched. How the fuck does that work? You know? Who sends a school full of kids home during a wildfire? Right. Right. They never made it home. They were they never made it home. And people just look the other way. You'll look the other way till it's your fucking kid. And then when it's your fucking kid, you're going to realize no one will help you. You've just say goodbye to your kid. Say goodbye, because you'll never get that kid back. You know? And the shit that you will imagine, what happened to your kid in the end, won't even compare to the evil shit that probably happened. That's the sad part. You know? Yeah, they were property heirs. That's just it. They got rid of them. Because now what the fuck is happening in Hawaii? A land grab of all the fucking rich people. Now they're just buying up all the land. You know? Wow. How convenient was that? You know? I don't mean to bitch. It's been a rough day. It's been a rough day. And when I start talking about this shit, it's smoke and mirrors. That's all it is. There's smoke and mirrors. When they're telling you to look over here, you need to actually figure out what the fuck it is they're making you look away from. Perfect example. Donald Rumsfeld comes out and says that the government lost $9 trillion of money. They lost $9 trillion. And you want to know what happened a week later? 9/11. A week later. Did anybody ever figure out what happened to that $9 trillion? Did anybody even fucking ask after 9/11? Nope. 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 And don't tell me that they were not able to do 9/11 because The fucking gas station, they tried to eliminate my entire goddamn town trying to get to me. You know? The houses with the blue roofs were all spared. Huh. I didn't know that. But that makes sense. Kind of that painting your lamb's blood above your door. You know? It's the Luciferians version. Because Oprah is a fuck up. She's fucked. You know? Look at the people. Jim Carrey. He's about the only one of them that I don't trust, and he doesn't have a career anymore because he told all those people to go fuck themselves because he wouldn't buy into it. You know? He wouldn't buy into it. Notice how the people who won't buy into it end up not having a career, or they end up dead. You know? End up dead. That's how it works. You know? Unless you really think that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. You know? Really? The cameras just happened to not work where he was at. And the guards were asleep. But Bill Barr, showed up at that fucking jail secretly a week before. He thought it was secret. No one was supposed to know, but there were people who saw him go in. That's how we know. He was at that jail a week before Epstein died. He's the one who got all the fucking shit that Jeffrey Epstein had on all these motherfuckers. Because Bill Barr was the one who raided the shit. Where did all that stuff go? Personally, I think that's what was in Donald Trump's safe when they raided Mar-a-Lago. That was why he was so angry about that safe. Because he had Jeffrey Epstein's shit in a safe. That's the reason why Republicans will come out and say, oh, Trump needs to go. And then they go to Mar-a-Lago, and the minute they leave Mar-a-Lago, Trump is the best guy. He's the best guy. You got to vote for him. Oh, I love Trump. Oh, I love Trump. Notice how it works that way every fucking time. You know? What, you think he casts a goddamn spell on him? No. Jeffrey Epstein did the same thing they were doing at Franklin. They were setting people up, and they were filming them to blackmail them, to control them. That was Jeffrey Epstein's whole fucking thing. And so where did all that information go? You know? They just had a questioning to the FBI from the Supreme Court asking about the documents. Hopefully they'll come out. But I'm sorry, our Supreme Court is a joke. And the FBI never has any fucking answers. The FBI doesn't get involved. You know, the FBI is so heavily involved. The FBI and the CIA. You know? Because we all talk about the FBI, but the CIA is the one who employed Doug. That's the reason why Shane Bugbee, who was another co-founder of the Satanic Temple, told Doug to go fuck himself, because Doug Mesner told Shane Bugbee that he was working with the CIA. And Shane Bugbee did that whole article about it, you know? They're all for their own fucking power and their own goddamn money. You know, that's what they are. Alito, if you did the shit they did, you'd be in jail a week ago. You know? But they can do it, and it's all okay. It's all okay. Yeah. Giving our Supreme Court justices millions of dollars so that they can vote for people who are giving them millions of dollars, thinking that there's not a problem there. Oh my God. I am surprised most people don't just drop over dead, because their heads are shoved up so far up their asses, I don't see how they can breathe properly. That's what I think, you know? Oh, I fucking have gone to the FBI. I've gone to the FBI. I've called the FBI. Shit. If you get an inkling to call the FBI and report something, take my suggestion. Shove your fist right up your ass and spin around in circles. Because you'll get way farther doing that than you will go to the FBI. You know? That's how it works. Otherwise, you're going to go and they're going to shove their fist up your ass and you ain't even going to get a kiss. That's how it works. But like I've said over and over and over, sticking your head in the sand so that you don't have to know, when you stick your head in the sand, what ends up happening is when you stick your head in the sand, your ass goes in the air. And guess what they're going to do to your ass? Probably with no Vaseline, and you ain't going to get a kiss afterwards. No KY. That's what you'll get if you're lucky. You know? It's... When are people going to stop being okay with this shit? You know? Kids are dying from this shit. You know? And it's just sad. It's just sad. But again, if something happens to me, Daniel Dow told my sister he lives in Joplin, Missouri. I'm not letting that go. That motherfucker ain't gonna show up here. I'm not fucking Isaac Cappy. I'm not Isaac. They ain't gonna get me to do a fucking video. And they come into my house and I'm gonna do everything I can to hurt them. That's what I'm gonna do. You know? I am agitated. Should I have a fucking broken window? I've been dealing with these motherfuckers for the last several days. Ever since the broken window, now they're just, next door, they're just acting like fucking dickheads again. Just can't shove it in my face, you know? And I'm just stressed. And I am agitated. How much is it to repair it? Probably a couple $100. That's what I'm anticipating. I don't know. I haven't even looked at it yet. I haven't even checked it. It's just fixed to where if it rains, it's not going to rain in my house. But people were just like, well, you should have gotten them to press charges. No. They didn't. Look at what they did when the gas station exploded. Look at what they did when Daniel Dow and Geo Farnsworth showed up and fucking Owen ended up dead. What do you think they're going to do with the broken window? You know? I'm just... And it is normal to be agitated from gangstalking. I'm just tired of it. I'm just tired of it. I'm going to the... I think they said Tuesday. The dude that does the windows is back on Tuesday. I think he went on vacation. Because I've already gone into the hardware store. And, so I'm just lucky it wasn't something else, you know? These motherfuckers know that the cops ain't gonna help me. So I'm basically, the only one that I'm having protect me is God. And let me tell you, I'm having to just cling to my faith in a way that I cannot even begin to describe to you, because if I didn't have my faith, fuck, you think I'm agitated now. At least I think God is with me, you know? If I thought that I was having to deal with this and I didn't have any faith and there was no God, shit. And I don't even know what I'd be like. You know, I don't even know what I'd be like. I will. I'll let people know. I'm having a hard time feeding myself right now. And then they come into my house and fuck with my food. So now I don't know what I'm just eating everything. I just don't give a shit. Fuck, if they poison me, then they poison me. You know? If they poison me, God is the only thing that brings me any peace for sure. Yeah. Fuck, I'm just... I'm so stressed right now. And this fighting, this constant fighting, and having to deal with these dickheads, is just exhausting. It's exhausting. I really wish that Tara Joyce would just go back to her little porn thing. She says that she doesn't fucking hang out and protect fucking pedophiles, but I know she hangs out with people whose business is barely legal. The fucking their thing is barely legal, and it's porn. Tell me that barely legal, they don't have people that are not legal involved. That's the kind of shit she's involved with. But fuck, And then Daniel Dow at 3:30 this morning when I got up, because they were just blasting the shit out of me. I finally just got out of bed because I had a migraine from it. So I finally got out of bed, made the mistake of checking on my phone at 3:30 in the morning. That's why I did that video so early this morning, because Daniel Dow was doing an interview with Tara Joyce. And then Tara Joyce did a thing today when I called her out. I didn't do an interview. Shit. You say that if I say the sky is blue, Tara Joyce will come and say, no, it's not. It's purple with green polka dots. And people will just be like, oh, okay. I guess David's lying. The sky isn't blue. It's purple with green polka dots. No, I'm not leaving my house. I'm not selling my house. I'm not moving away. I've done that before. I moved from my house in Washington. I had a wonderful house. And I ended up moving to Iowa. And I was going to leave everything in the dirt. And they followed me. So when I got to fucking Erland, I started getting emails how they were waiting for me before I even got to Erland. When I got to this house, they were waiting for me. It doesn't make any difference where the fuck I go. There's nowhere to run. And they want to make it quite clear that there's nowhere to run. So you want to know what? Now I'm not going to run. Now I'm fucking putting my feet down and standing my fucking ground. That's what I'm doing. Because I ain't going to run anymore. Everyone, isn't there any place where you can go to get away? I ain't fucking running anymore. I'm not running. I'm going to stand and I'm going to fight. And fuck them. If it brings me down, at least I fucking died fighting. There's nowhere for them to run either. Nowhere to run. Nowhere to run. Where are they going to run? Where can you go to escape God and heaven? There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to run. And so I may not have anywhere to run, but neither do they. But I know that when I take my last breath, I'm not all that worried about what's going to fucking happen to me. I have some questions for God. I sure do. And I'm not going to be able to walk on water. I'm not perfect, but at least I've tried. That's the whole point. God doesn't ask us to be perfect. He just wants us to keep trying. So when you fall down, you pick yourself up, you brush yourself off, and you do better next time. That's how it's supposed to work, And that's what's going to happen for me. I'm not running, and I'm going to fight. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. They ain't going to quiet me. They ain't going to, because then you guys are all going to watch. And if I get scared and I run away, what will that do for all of you? Because I think about all of you. Even though you guys are just on here, I think about you guys all the time. Because you're kind of like you're the good collective. They're the bad collective. You're the good collective. And you're the ones that I'm focused on for God. Because it's the faithful that I'm actually fighting for. And the children, and the children. That's who I'm fighting for. That's why I'm standing here doing this. And being agitated like this, shit. to be quite honest, I would have, by now, had I had money in my pocket, I would have gone to the pot shop and bought pot because it would have calmed me down. But I'm broke. Don't have a damn dime to my name. And so you get what you get. If I have to live this way, you guys all have to do it with me, you know? Because there's just no, it sucks. Oh, great. It's 4th of July. I have a feeling they're going to use that. I can go and get, if I spent $50 on pot, I mean, you don't get a whole lot, but I don't smoke a whole lot. So $50 a pot, where how I am now, can last me a good couple weeks at least. Because I don't smoke. I only smoke when I get agitated like this. I still have some wine downstairs, but that wine is what I bought a couple weeks ago. And I have a glass. I've had a couple glasses while I've been on here in other videos, and I still have some, but I don't want to drink tonight because I'm so agitated, it'll end up making my stomach hurt. Usually alcohol doesn't do, I don't drink, you're supposed to drink a glass of red wine every night. They say that's supposed to be good for you. But 2 puffs, that's about it. I take a couple puffs and I'm good. I can load a bowl in a pipe and smoke that pipe for a couple days and not only have to load it once. It's not like I'm a pothead. I don't have money to be a pothead. But in my experience, it helps my anxiety so much more than the pills that they want to give you. You know? Because the pills, I at least don't get all loopy. Pot doesn't make me loopy. It just calms me down, but it doesn't make me loopy. Xanax will completely fuck me up. I hate Xanax. And their pills just, I don't care if you buy weed with it. I'm always pretty honest about what I spend money on. I did, a while back, someone donated because I'm trying to get my stuff ready for the podcast, which is kind of what I'm doing now. But I have this thing, but I haven't been able to figure it out yet. It's supposed to hold my camera and stuff, but technology kind of scares me. Oh, withdrawal from Big Pharma was awful. Oh my God, for years they had me on medication. They didn't do anything to me except make me fat. And I didn't understand why. They were giving me pills for depression, but all those pills were doing were making me fat, which was making me more depressed. I just didn't get it. Fuck Big Pharma. I'm not taking, And pot is just something that is just easier to deal with. I quit everything and I clean to purge my anxiety. I can't take anything. I'm allergic. I'm not allergic, and funny enough, pot has the complete opposite reaction on me that it does for most people. Most people get high and then they just want to sit back and eat and watch television and all of that. And that was never me. When I get high, I end up getting high and then I end up cleaning my house. That's what I do. I get high and then I go do stuff to get me involved with stuff. And it's the distraction that ends up taking the anxiety away. But the anxiety right now is so bad. I have to admit, the anxiety is terrible right now. This constant fighting, them coming and breaking my window and having that fucking cop be a dickhead to me, and to the point where the only reason why I shook his hand is because he had such disrespect for me. It was the only way I thought that I could establish some respect. I actually stuck out my hand, shook his hand, and thanked him for his time. Thanked him for his time. Didn't do a fucking thing but treat me like shit. Disrespect me. Showed up, the first fucking thing out of his mouth was, I was only 2 blocks away and I didn't see anything. That's the first fucking thing he said to me. You know? Shit, I could be lying in a bloody heap in my fucking house. And they'd walk in and say, well, we don't see anything. Well, they probably wouldn't, because then I would start smelling. So they'd probably say, oh, you know, God only knows what they would say. When there's 2 explosions for a gas station, they'll say it's just one. That's the kind of shit they'll say. I can't even think about how stupid they are. Yeah, I think that medication causes a lot of things to fuck up. My mom, when I took care of my mom had to have been on 30 pills. And what pissed me off is she had a pill, then she had to take 5 other pills to counteract the effects of the one pill. That's the shit they do to you. And the psych drugs that they do, they don't even know how that shit's going to work on you. They tell you all the time, well, we're going to try this, and then you take this for about 6 weeks, and we're going to see how it works. Because it may work on you, but then it may make everything worse and make you want to fucking commit suicide. We're not quite sure what it's going to do to you. But take a bunch of it, it's only going to cost you fucking $100 every month for these fucking pills. You know? Oh, I live with extreme pain from all the physical abuses. Yeah. Health food store. Fuck, who can afford a health food store? I love health food stores, but I like organic food too. Who can afford it? Unfortunately, you know. God has kept me poor, but you want to know what? God has kept me poor, and CBD oil works. It does. And that Delta, it's either Delta 8 or Delta 9. It's a hemp-based thing, and it helps with pain. That I never knew anything about it. Psych meds are very addicting, and they're numbing. They make it to where you only have one emotion, and that's all you ever have. And fuck, for a couple months until my psychiatrist took me off of it, they put me on Seroquel. And Seroquel, I couldn't form sentences. My friends hated it because I couldn't form sentences. I never talked. For a couple months, I didn't talk because the Seroquel made me so slow that we would have a conversation and I wouldn't think of something to say until like 5 minutes later. And you can all see I'm a talker. You know, I'm a talker. And all that shit. And my therapist was just like, my psychiatrist was just like, why? Because it was when I went to the psych ward the first time that they were hitting me with the weapons. And they decided, oh, well, you say you're being hit with these microwave weapons. You must be crazy, you know? And my psychiatrist, who had known me and knew I wasn't crazy, I ended up going in and seeing her afterwards because got out of the hospital and I went and saw my psychiatrist because you only see your psychiatrist like once every 3 months. And when she found out I was on Seroquel, she was just like, you do not need to be on Seroquel. I'm taking you off of Seroquel. And I came back to be normal, you know? But shit. The worst one was when they had me on Depakote. And I took myself off Depakote and almost had fucking seizures because of it. So I'm not a big fan of pharmaceutical meds. I have meds, and I probably, to be quite honest, will end up taking them, but they're PRNs. And one of the anxiety meds that I take, other people take it for allergies. And so my stuff, it's all PRN. I don't have to take it every day, and it's not addictive at all. That's what my psychiatrist has me on. And I'll probably take some of that. The problem is that if I take that, the next day I'm like a zombie. It makes me, I sleep really well, but it makes me a zombie. And I'm not so sure that I want to be sleeping like the dead right now, because I want to be able to hear if someone shows up at my house. And that fucking sucks that I'm living like that, but that's how I'm living right now. I'm worried someone's going to show up at my house in the middle of the fucking night. And I thank God I'm a light sleeper. And when I'm awake, I'm awake. There's no, oh, I have to wake up. When I'm awake, I am awake. And so I don't want to put myself in a situation that, and it sucks that I have to live like that. But they're so upset because they know I'm pushing this whole thing. They fucking murdered Owen, and I'm not letting it go. I'm not letting Owen go. They should have never bragged to me that they murdered Owen. They should have never done it. It was the fucking stupidest thing. They thought they were being and didn't realize. Dr. Peter Bregan is a great resource. Never heard of him. But hydroxyzine, I think I've taken that before. In fact, I'm almost positive that's one of the pills that I take, that I have as a PRN. That it's, because it helps with sleep. It helps with sleep. Because what the problem is with my PTSD is that I get so stressed out that I sleep, but it's not a good sleep. And with their shit beaming at me all the time, fuck, it's almost impossible to get that sleep. I have a little one under me who is asleep right now, who is dreaming. And so, ritual abuse in the 21st century. There's another book out there, Traumatic Stress. There's a book called Traumatic Stress. Vanderkolk, I think, is the dude who wrote it. Just, if you're gonna read that book, Traumatic Stress, I suggest that you're seeing a therapist, because I read that book and it triggered the shit out of me. One of the best books I've ever read on stress, but triggered the absolute shit. I mean, yeah, my dogs are incredibly tactile. 2 of them are in here, shoved up against both of my feet, because they're very tactile. Thank you. People have, and it's not everyone. That's just it. There are really good people out there. There are some really good people. I tell you what, I'm going to walk away for a minute because I'm going to go get that book so I can show you guys what that book is. Library. Traumatic Stress. This is the book. And this is who wrote it. I'm hoping that's not backwards. Bessel A. Vanderkolk. K-O-L-K. And so, this is the best book on stress. This book is incredible. And, I use deep sleep. I use deep breathing. And it is also, is it that time? Oh, because she was just wasting away in front of me. He was just wasting away. You just is wasting away. Oh, I know. It is so hard to be you. Okay, let me finish, and then I'll tend to you guys. Tell them about your book. My book is Pet Therapy. Is exactly that's of all things that help. Pet therapy. Hot showers, I love hot showers, and I also love hot baths. Never used to. Took me a long time to end up getting used to a bath because they used to drown me constantly. And so I was really afraid of water for many, many, many years. I was afraid of water. But when I'm stressed out, it is not unknown to me to take 5 or 6 showers a day. I don't stay in there for hours, but okay, leave me alone for a minute. Leave me alone. I'll get to you in a minute. Hold on. So many smiles. So, okay, I need to pray. Someone left a thing on a message saying that I force people to pray. And if you don't like it when I pray, then don't watch. I'm going to pray anytime I want to pray. And if you want to pray with me, I love it, because when 2 or more, but if you don't want to pray and it upsets you, then stop watching my video while I pray. It's not like I have a gun to anyone's head to make them watch my stuff. And if you don't feel like praying, then don't pray. But me, I'm going to pray. So, Father, I come to you just stressed. But I do appreciate that I feel like you have been with me. I know that you've been coming to me in my sleep to take my place and do what you need me to do, even though I know that half the time you ask me to do stuff and then you have to drag me by my nose. With my feet dragging, I know I'm not the easiest person to deal with, and I'm sorry about that. I just want to thank you. I thank you for these live chats, because tonight especially, it's been really nice to come on and just deal with people who are just normal and kind and aren't going to attack me because they don't like what I have to say. I don't mind questions, but these attacks, the whole situation with Tara Joyce Randolph and Daniel Dow today was just so much. I am begging you to help me with finances for this stupid window. Not only just the window, but other stuff. I need flea medication. It's the world's stress doesn't just go away. And so, but I just want to thank you for the things that are in my life. Thank you for the strength that you've given me. Thank you for the love, my animals, the people in my life that actually care. I thank you for that. And I hope that you bring that for everybody. I hope that you open people's eyes and direct them so that they know what to do in these troubled times, because I don't have the answers for people, but I know that you do. And I just ask that you help all of us, guide all of us to do what we need to do at this time, so that we do not lose ourselves, or more importantly, our souls, in this time of tribulation. And I know that terrible stuff is going on, that hurricane that's just building. Just try, if you can, help us so that we can come together and support each other. And for all the missing kids that we talked about, do something about that. I bitch at you constantly about it. I know that you're tired of listening to me gripe and groan, but do something about it, because tolerating it has become intolerable for me. And I think it's intolerable for other people as well. And just, we love you. I love you. And if there's anything you need, please just direct me so that I know. I'm kind of dense. I'm not always the sharpest tool in the shed. So sometimes you have to color the picture for me, point lines, diagrams, whatever. But just let me serve your will. And I say these things lovingly in your son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. So, I was a little bit more selfish with that prayer. I hope that all of you guys just get something. I'm just hoping that I'm helping somebody with this stuff. You guys obviously are saying amen, so thank you. Two or more gathered in his name, two or more. That's the reason why I like to pray on here, because two or more. It doesn't make any difference where it is. Two or more. And there's more than two in here. And God loves to listen. God loves to help. We just need to open up our hearts and our minds to allow heaven to help. And I'm trying. Like I said, I don't always succeed, but I do try. I try to focus on it. I'm more agitated today than I have been in a while. But that whole thing with the window, that was weird. And then being told that I was supposed to take my place and cast the dark. I'm supposed to send the darkness to these people. And so I do. But I hate that. I know that Luciferians would look at it and go, oh, it's powerful and I'm so powerful. But I don't want to have power over people. I want to be equal with all of you guys so that we're all working to support each other and help each other. I don't want to be lording over anybody. Even and the bad ones, I'd rather avoid. I can't do it right now. But, vengeance is mine. That's true. But what God is telling me is what I'm getting over and over and over is that they're to be brought down by their own devices. It's not witchcraft. What I'm involved with is not witchcraft. It's not witchcraft at all. It's what they taught me, but it's heaven who's directing it. Heaven's involved. My whole life is in heaven. My whole life is serving heaven. And for whatever reason, I'm supposed to direct, because really sending the darkness to you, all it does is send your own terrible shit back to you. It just allows it. I'm sending the chickens home to roost. But I don't like to focus on that, because to focus on it is really dark. And it's harsh. And I'd rather be doing this, where we're all talking and sharing ideas and feeling a camaraderie. Because when I'm fighting with those assholes, I don't feel any camaraderie. I don't. I'm standing on the front lines dealing with fucking child killers and people who protect child killers. And I don't like child killers and people who would protect and enable child killers. I don't like those people. I don't like them. And Tara Joyce Randolph can say, I don't protect pedophiles, but you're right up Daniel Dow's ass. And he'll bring up what happened with my nephew when I was 13 and having a psychotic break. But you want to know what? I don't have any mugshots as an adult for sexually abusing kids like that dude does. Because that's never been my way, And so I end up having to fight with these people, and it ends up making me angry. And I don't like anger. I don't. It's exhausting. It doesn't feel good. It's discombobulating to the way that I like. I can be a dickhead. I can fight. And I will fight. But I don't like it, and constantly. And I just learned about not SI. I don't know what SI is there. and I don't know where you refuse to comment. Community is so important. And I'm really hoping that this live has been positive. I really prefer to have the positive ones than, that's the reason why when I was I was in such a bad mood the last time I did a live video. I think it was 20 minutes long. The one before, I think I did an hour one yesterday too. But the 20-minute one, that's the reason why I only did 20 minutes. Because I was so irritated and I didn't want to infect everybody with my bad attitude. Because that's the whole thing. When I'm in a bad mood, I have a tendency to isolate. Because I'm not pleasant when I'm in a bad mood, and I don't like to share that with other people. I don't like to be a dickhead to other people. It just feels bad to do that. And so I try not to do it. Now, if you're a pedophile or fucking someone who's protecting pedophiles, you get what you get. I'll never be nice to you because I don't like you. And if I like you, I like you. But if I don't like you, I'm not going to pretend that I like you. Hey, government. I haven't seen you in here. I hope you were in for a while because I'm getting ready to close this down. I have some hungry dogs that are just wasting away in front of me. They are supposed to eat at 5 o'clock and it is now 7:30. And if I don't get down there and feed them, there won't be anything left. They're just going to become skin and bones. They're just going to drop over. That's what they think, Trust me. They could go without a couple of meals and be just fine. And so my family is literally gaslighting me so hard. Yeah, I know all about that one. To me, family is a 4-letter word. That's the unfortunate thing about it, is that it's a 4-letter word. They're not notifying anybody, and my numbers keep changing on the YouTube. Today, I had 7 likes and 0 views. How in the hell do I get 7 likes but no one's viewed it? Maybe the other side is watching my videos. So it makes me wonder how many numbers I actually get. How many people are actually watching this? Because it's just weird. They don't want anyone to hear about me. They don't want anyone to listen to me. And all of you who are listening to me, they're just going to tell you that you're under mass delusion. You got this, David. Time to unleash your potential. That's the issue. I just watched Dune Part 2, and I really identified with Dune Part 2. Actually, Dune is one of my favorite books. Read that book, the whole series of books over and over and over. Read those books. And the dude is saying that he's afraid. And the guy asks him, because you'll lose control? And he looks at the guy and says, no, because I gain it. And that's what I've been afraid of too. If I gain control, what I'm afraid of is what heaven is asking me to do. If I do it, what happens if I lose myself? Because focusing on the dark is not an easy thing to do. Time for dark talk is over, and that's what I've been told. That's what I've been told. They need to actually see what the darkness can do, and because of what I was taught, I'm really good at the darkness. I was bound to it before I even knew I even existed. And we need action to their thing. You have us to pull you back. See, that's the only thing that I thought about with this, is when it starts to get bad and I feel like I start losing myself, I'm hoping I can come in here and have you guys remind me of who I really am. Because who I really am is loving. I care about you guys. But this evil shit, I can't deal with it anymore. I can't deal with it. If they want the dark, I'm gonna give them the fucking dark in totality because they want it so bad and I have it to give. And so, but in order to do that, you know, sometimes I wish that I was more like Jesus because Jesus was all about love. And Jesus is all about love and caring and, you know, compassion. And me, I feel like I've been given a sword, and half the time I want to take that sword and just slam it up alongside their fucking heads. That's what I want to do. And it's not, okay, that's a good thing. Jesus not only flipped the table, but he beat him with a stick. And so, you're right, you know? You're right. He beat those money changers with a willow. And so, you know, God, Jesus is the only one who's perfect. I'm not perfect. But heaven keeps telling me, heaven told me, I'm supposed to do what I'm supposed to do. But what I'm supposed to do is not pleasant. You know, sending them to darkness and having to deal with these fucking child killers. But all I want them is to be claimed by the dark. I want the dark to fuck with them first. Because before they're claimed, I want them good and scared. You know, I want them good and scared. And it's working. I have them afraid. Obviously, look at them. You know, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing if they were okay. But, yeah, the international bankers. And I will say, even though I spent this time saying I didn't want to talk about Jewish people, who are the bankers for the most part? Who owns most of the money? You know? I'm such a contradiction sometimes. It's just, you know, I had to explain to my 8-year-old how there are adults who do bad things to children. Never thought I'd have to do that. You have to do it all the time and never stop. It can't just be a one conversation thing. They have to be aware, you know? And they have to be aware that they have to trust their gut. If something feels wrong, get the fuck out of there, you know? When I had money, which is not often, but when I do have money, I give people money. I try to help people out. And what I was told about money is when you give money, give it. Just give it. If they pay it back and they return it, then that's great. You know, that's great. But if they don't, there's not that animosity. You just gave it to them and you don't have any expectations. I never say they don't have to pay it back, but I never say they have to pay it back, and I sure as fuck don't charge interest. You know? And I can't legally chip him. Shit, if I had a kid, my kid would be awful because I'd have him duct taped to me. But I've said that before. I would never let my kid out of my sight. And as a teenager, oh man, I'm so glad I don't have kids because I would worry. I would be a worrier, you know? By the way, I illegally bailed out the FDIC for $1 trillion using a banknote, according to their own rules. Yeah, unfortunately, they probably took that $1 trillion note and now they're just beating a bunch of other poor people down so that they can pay for it. I'm just thankful I'm alive. And I'm thankful that I have that I am compelled to do what I'm doing. I don't like it. It's exhausting. And government, I haven't done anything with your emails yet. I haven't done anything with anybody's anything. You know, That's the shit part about it. I am so distracted with all of this shit that was going on that it's hard for me to act. It's been hard for me to focus. I haven't even sewn. Today I went out and pulled weeds because weeds was a brainless activity. And so I just like to help people. I like to get, you know, I like to get it out there, you know. Info is money. Good night, everyone. Heather, thank you for coming in. I got to get off here too because now I have all three of them at my feet. And I just have the one who is just staring at me. She's just like, did you get my email, sent pics of my sweater project? I don't think I got an email with any sweater project. If you could resend it to me. You know, I don't think I'm getting my emails. That's the problem. Because I get emails and my email, what I usually get has slowed way down to almost nothing. And so I sent them a banknote for the total amount. You know, they think they're neglected. They think they're neglected. Today they got tacos because when I eat, they get bites of what everything I eat. They get bites. And when they wake up in the morning, the first thing they want is a treat because I made the mistake of giving them a treat in the morning. So now every time they wake up in the morning, it's just crazy. It just reconnected me. I wonder how much but I could use a big fat check. Amen to that. Amen to that. The woman who broke my window was not rich. And pressing charges would have only caused her issues. And yes, she broke my window. But like I said, I think that whole thing was a God thing because she left. And when she came back, she looked possessed. It was like heaven just took over her because heaven wanted that cop to show up. Oh, well, yeah, she was crazy. You know, she showed up on my front door and rang my Ring doorbell. And I was sitting there watching my cameras. I wasn't going to answer that door. I didn't know what she wanted and she looked crazy. But because she threw that rock through the window, I ended up meeting the cop that actually was the one who chased me down on the road. And I did send the dark to him because I'm supposed to be able to see it. I don't have a clue what's about ready to happen. But whatever I sent out the other day to that cop is going to be bad. And I know it's going to be bad. I can feel it. Not for me, but for them. But I don't like to do bad things to people. Even when they're bad people, I just don't like to do bad things. It makes me feel terrible. But that's what I'm being asked to do by God. And so I have to go look at your blog, dude. I have to go look at your blog. If you could send me the information again, and I'll actually, when you send me the information, I'm going to print it off. It actually is easier for me to have stuff in paper form that I can hold on to look at than looking at my phone because things just get lost on my phone. Well, this has been great. I feel better. My live video is saying now that I've only been on here for 30 minutes. That's what I'm saying. The shit is just, so everything I just did for an hour for 2 hours calling out names, is that gone? If you guys could actually go and comment on my live video that I just did, that way it'll come up and I can see, because I can't see it. It takes a day or two to process, so I don't see anything. And so if you could just comment on it, that would be great. You know, just since you're on here, just comment while I'm on here, so then I get the link to it. On your end, it says 2 hours. Okay, because it just restarted on mine, and now it says 31 minutes and 36 seconds. It says 2 hours. Okay, that's the right time. 2 hours and 23 minutes. I don't know why my phone is, but then they do all kind. You just don't realize the kind of shit I have to go through. And just don't realize. Thanks, guys. This has been great. I hope that I helped some of you. I hope the information was good. I hope that I didn't bum all you guys out. I know I'm stressed out, but it's kind of cathartic for me to come on here and talk with you guys. So, David, look up 3136 in Strong's Concordance for fun. Okay, I don't know what that is. I take it Strong's is a concordance. And so, I'm so tired that I'm having just a problem focusing. I have all day. But at 3:30 this morning, I thought I was going to end up having a stroke because what they were beaming at me in my head hurt so bad that I had a migraine. And I don't get migraines. Thank you, government. Thank you. Heaven communicates in funny ways. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? And again, every time God tells me to do something, it's usually something I don't want to do. God is always telling me that I have to do stuff that I don't want to do. Sending the darkness. But before that, it was opening up comments and talking about Isaac Cappy. I didn't want to do that either. I ended up doing it. I'm glad I did. Because I would not have met all of you guys had I not. Had I not opened up comments, I would never have realized how much support I've had throughout the years. I didn't know what any of it, I didn't know because I wasn't letting anybody comment. Now I do. And, oh shit. If we don't pay attention, we get poked in the ribs by the spirit. Oh my God, are you kidding me? God takes a 2x4 and smacks me over the head with it. God is patient to me up to a certain point. That's the reason why when I had that dream the other night, when I was half in and half out of sleep, when I was waking up, and God told me, take your place. And then all of a sudden I was in front of that cop, and I knew, because in the dream that cop had sunglasses and a hat on. In real life, when he came, he didn't. But in the dream, that's who it was. And I recognized, I knew exactly who I was looking at. And I have a great video edit about Mark Passio regarding Satanism being a mindset of being possessed, not being able to say I was wrong. Well, that ain't me. I'm wrong all the time, And when I am, I always admit it, and I always try to, but I gotta know I'm wrong before I admit it. Tara Joyce ain't just gonna come to me and tell me that I was wrong, and I'm just gonna say okay. But, when I don't control my tongue, he also pokes me. Yeah, I love being wrong. I wish a lot of things I believe were wrong. Amen to that. I wish a lot of things I believed were wrong, But when I am wrong, when I am a dick, when I do things that I do not necessarily feel it could have been done better, I always come forward and try and make amends and all of that. Not with the child killers. I'm not going to be gaslit. And that's all they are. All they do is lie. Lie, lie, lie. Twist, twist, twist. Lie, lie, lie. Twist, twist, twist. The reason why her hair is so crazy is because her brain is so small. And I mean, unfortunately, I have to say that honestly, I've had questions about syphilis. Not about me, but syphilis makes people crazy. I knew someone, older woman, who had syphilis. Fucking crazy ass bitch. But that's a terrible thing to say, and so I try not to. Even though I just said it. She is a hag. She is a hag. She is the very definition of a hag. Ooh, barbecue sounds good. I just didn't feel like cooking, so I made tacos. Okay, I'm out of here, because if I don't, I'm just going to have 3 dogs. Eventually, the one is going to start farting. That's what he ends up doing when he wants me to get to do stuff. He farts, because it makes me get up and motivate. And so I didn't want to disturb with Argo earlier. Thank you, David. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I feel that you guys have helped me so much more than I've helped you tonight. And I just want to say thank you. You guys have helped me immeasurably. I feel way better than what I did 2.5 hours ago when I came on here. And I have been feeling incredibly aggressive. When I get angry, what happened is that I got depressed over Owen last Thursday. And it hasn't gone well since then. Thursday, then Friday, that woman broke my window, and gratitude is not gay. Gratitude, God loves a grateful heart. Gratitude is, I'm very grateful, but then I guess I am gay, so maybe gratitude is gay. I don't know. I'm glad that I helped you guys. You guys helped me out a lot. Almost to the point where I don't want to get off here. I'm actually having fun now. I feel great. We're also getting hit with really bad solar storms. We just had more X flares that are heating everything up, and now that hurricane, because when we get hurricanes and weather like that, it affects everything on the planet. And so that's what's gonna, we're all gonna be tested, and it's gonna be hard. It actually only got up to 85 today. Yesterday it was 106, but it rained last night, so it stayed a little bit cooler. 85 is still hot, but at least it wasn't the 106, and that's not with the heat index. It was cold this morning. It's cold in Michigan now. It was in the 60s this morning. I walked outside with the dogs, and we were just like, oh, but I'm a big winter person. And my house, I can't afford the air conditioner, so my air conditioning is set at 76 degrees. And so it ain't that cold in my house. In the wintertime, I set my heat at 55. You'd all hate to come visit me in the wintertime. I prefer it to be cold. And blue is a greater reflective of UV. Yeah. It was in the mid-70s in Indiana. It was 80s here, upper 80s. I'm a winter baby. I am a definite winter baby. I like it cold. I like snow. I like cold. You can dress for the cold. And the cool thing about it is that when it's really super cold outside, everybody stays inside. So if you're a cold person and you like the cold in the wintertime, it's like having the world to yourself. You can go out and about, and there's less people in the world. Because in the summertime, everybody's out. You can't get away from anybody. And a fiakin. That doesn't have to do with the fiacus, does it? Oh, I am a fiacus. If you know what a fiacus is, I am a fiacus. But I am a Sagittarius, but because I guess my rising is Scorpio, which means I have a stinger. And I do have a stinger. I try not to use it, but people who fight with me generally don't like me in the end. Daniel Dow, Thomas Schoenberger, Terry Joyce especially is okay. A fiakin is a person born in a fiacus. A fiacus, just to let you guys know, is the serpent bearer. He learned how to bring back people from the dead, and so he was struck down. But he was a righteous man, and so God put him in the stars as Ophiuchus. And the reason why he's the serpent bearer is because he has a serpent around him, because the serpent represents eternal life. And Sagittarians, we generally are pretty chill, but I have that Scorpion side to me, so I can be chill, but I can also be, yep, Ophiuchus is the 13th sign. The 13th sign, that's what Ophiuchus is. Actually, Ophiuchus is the 10th sign in 13. Instead of only having 12, it's the 10th, and it's also the most female. Ophiuchus is known as the most feminine sign of all of them. And so, and I'm a super seg. That Scorpio, though, man, I don't know what was going on when they put Scorpion next to Sagittarius, because Scorpion and Sagittarius, whew, you get us with the stinger, the tail, with our little bow, and you're screwed if we focus on you in anger. You are screwed. Okay, I have someone who is just, okay, I gotta go. Thanks, guys. All right, I'll feed you. Hold on.